Hello and welcome back to the finale of the Batman Arkham Asylum playthrough.
It's been a long trip.
44 whole parts, but we got there eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah. So this is just basically the wrap-up. You can see all the criminals getting put back in their place, all the Titan-enhanced inmates returning to normal. Joker definitely isn't feeling very well at the moment, because we just basically Falcon punched him.
It exploded.
Yeah, you can see his gauntlets really torn up there.
Thanks, Jim, but I have one on the way. Get some rest. You deserve it.
Well, there's your Two-Face.
Ah.
And Batman doesn't have time to go home and rest and get a new costume. He's back in the game already. And that is Arkham Asylum. All in all, a pretty good game. The boss fights are kind of disappointing, but, you know...
Certain ones, I would say.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's definitely the best Batman game ever released. It really does make you feel like you're Batman. I mean, the Batman Begins game, it definitely set up, you know, some of the ideas, using fear, taking out enemies silently, sneaking around, but this, it came along and blew it out of the water. It perfected it. It's definitely
one of the better.
It's definitely one of the best superhero games, right up there with Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, because it makes you feel like the superhero that you're playing as.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are your thoughts of it? I mean, even though you haven't played the game, I mean, you just watched the whole thing.
You know, I feel that I'm going to be personally excited for the next one. Not only because, well, while I did like this game a lot, don't get me wrong, I feel like there's so much more that they can improve on. Best example would be the improvements of boss fights.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I would definitely say that this set a high standard bar that hopefully Batman Arkham City will be able to greatly appreciate, approve of, and get a good reaction. All in all, out of like from 1 to 10, what would you give this game?
Even with the disappointing boss fights, I would give it a solid 10 because there's a lot of replay value here. There's definitely, and it's, you know, it's perfect in every aspect except the boss fights. But even then, I would give this, you know, it's definitely a recommendation.
Of course.
At least a 9, if not a 10.
Yeah, I would definitely say maybe 9, 9.5. I guess the reason I would give it that rating is just because, although you would say that the majority of the game is really good, a lot of people would say that the boss fights can take away a lot because it is a boss fight. You know, it's supposed to be the sum up of all you've learned.
I don't usually use a number scale whenever I do, you know, reviews, but if you had to twist my arm and make me, definitely in the same range you did.
Yeah.
I mean, you should definitely try it out. I mean, it's got something for everybody. It's got the beat-em-ups, it's got the sneaking around, and it incorporates it all flawlessly. You never feel like they just jammed something in. I mean, It's not like the stealth segments feel like you just screwed up the action segments like Yahtzee of Zero Punctuation might say. It just flows. At a breakneck pace. You never feel like the action's halted for 1 minute. You never feel like you're stuck. I mean, it's like a very well-written comic book. Definitely.
Yes. This has potential. I mean, like, imagine if this were to be made into a movie.
Oh, definitely. Definitely it would be.
I would have a feeling that this would be a movie way down the line, though. Not anytime soon.
Yeah. And
it's kind of like how I feel about games like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. While the first one wasn't that big of a, like, a lot of people, it was a good game, but a lot of people said, oh, it was really a letdown. I would still say, like, if you really looked into the story, it would make a perfect Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Although the second one looks actually really good, so that's just my opinion.
And of course, my few gripes with this game, from the screenshots I've seen of Batman Arkham City from Game Informer, it looks like they're taking what people thought into account. Like, they're improving the combat a little bit with the countering 2 mooks at once, adding more variation in the mooks, adding armored mooks, adding more weapons for the mooks, and more silent takedown opportunities, like tightrope walking, just grabbing them with, like, your legs and choking them with your ankles. And they haven't shown anything of the boss fights, unfortunately, because that's really where the main gripe was of this game. But, you know, from what I've seen, it definitely looks like it's going to be this, except even better.
All we can do now is just wait and see.
Yeah, they said it was coming out in October when I went to reserve it. I really, really doubt that.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that also.
I think at the most it's going to be like a December release. I thought it was going to be somewhere in November, because the teaser trailer says fall of this year, actually. Which is pretty crazy early. I mean, this only came out, like, literally a year ago, August 2009. So, but, again, this is just a really solid game. If you were to play a superhero game, I would recommend this for this generation, because it's easier to find, and Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction for those without a 360, good PC or a PS3.
Ultimate Destruction is a good game, though.
Ultimate Destruction is definitely a fantastic game. It's definitely on the same level as this game, if not slightly better, because the boss fights in that game are
epic.
A lot more epic.
Yes, they are.
And
also, I do like the idea of you being... I love free roaming games. The idea of being able to see something and you can go to it.
Which this game definitely did. And it looks like Arkham City is going to do a lot more of that with the whole city.
I think that would make the game all the more intense if it was a free roaming game. Like, you could see a giant, like, building way off in the distance, and if you wanted to, you could run to it, you could fly to it, you can do all of that.
It would be really cool if they made it a lot like, you know, Spider-Man 2. Like, you could grapple around Gotham and swing around and stuff.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening. In the city.
Favorite part about this game?
Well, like I said, the fight with 20 or so mooks right before the 2 Titans and mooks boss fight. But, I would actually have to say one of the challenge missions, which would be Sewer Bat Extreme, because it's like an endurance match. You can just, you know, go in and fight a whole bunch of mooks, and it's fairly challenging. But it also plays the really awesome soundtrack that I really like. I've pointed out quite a few times during that fight, which makes it, you know, a lot of fun to play that mission. But they've also released some content over DLC, like there's one where you have to... It's an endless endurance match with regular mooks, but then he also throws in those crazy guys, and you can't use regular, you know, ultimate takedowns or throws on them. You have to just punch them and hope they stay away, because they come in really, really fast. But it's really hard to pin it down to, like, one point, because this whole game is really just... really, really good. But...
Angry Batman!
Sure you can!
What is that?
I don't know, but this artwork is pretty good, if it's a little...
It's simplistic, I like it.
Yeah.
Like that right there, that's clever.
That looks really awesome. And the Joker and pistol. That was definitely the freakiest part of the game, was seeing Super Titan Mohawk Joker. Just like...
Well, I mean, just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's like gigantic, he's got like these claws, these, you know, spikes poking out of his forearms. You can see like his muscle tissue underneath the rips of his skin, and he's bleeding. And see, Tom Kane, Louis Green.
Oh, so many.
Now, because we didn't do the entire game, we didn't solve all the secrets there. You know, I'm gonna mention a few spoilers. So if you guys don't want to listen to the rest of it, you can just, you know, ignore me. But finding all the spirits of Arkham reveals who actually put them there in the first place. It was actually Quincy Sharp, who is the warden of Arkham Island. And if you go back to where you left him, in the cage in the cell block, he will be gone, and he will leave another Chronicle of Arkham, except it's got Batman, Batman, Batman written inside the circle that he usually leaves there instead of the Beetle, which implies that he somehow escaped and that, he's totally insane.
And now he has a crush on Batman.
He might be looking for Batman to, kill him or something. If you find all the riddles, Batman tracks down the Riddler via his radio signal and calls in the cops to collect him. And it is definitely one of the funniest scenes in the game, just seeing him break loose. There's one part where he asks you if you're using the internet to solve his riddles, which got me so good because I didn't use the internet to find any of them, but I used to write FAQs for GameFAQs, and it was just hilarious. Here's the Stinger cutscene. You can get 1 of 3 here.
Well, we might take our time to sign this off while we can.
Yep, this was your Kirby.
And I'm EPZ379.